world starts to hear my story today, whatever I can give in detail starts today. Today I have a meeting with somebody, a man that means the most in my life. And I want him to know that I'm going down this radical road, this crazy, chaotic road of information, of what's going on Earth. That's got a lot of people freaked out. I've been doing a lot of studying. I have a lot of references in other people's work that people are not noticing, that I can point out to you, the watcher, and you can decide with your own mind the evidence compiling, how they come out in results in your mind, or how you determine the results of what you see. What you see the future's gonna unfold. And it's just gonna get worse and worse. So if you think there's just craziness, all around craziness, they are affecting that. They are making that much worse for us. Doesn't mean every one of us is crazy. Doesn't mean every one of us is affected by it. Every one of us are affected by them. In fractions that you can start to learn by following and listening to what I'm going to be breaking down. I don't have a clue how I'm doing it. Don't have a clue. I got 6-7 years in this. In the last year and a half or something like this, I've hardly done much on my YouTube channel. I've studied deeper than I ever studied before, but I haven't been reflecting it to you guys. And what has opened up is just mind-blowing. I'm such a comfortable human being now. You know, I don't know if I died tonight, but I'm such a comfortable human being. I don't believe the people who succumb to these beings will necessarily feel the pain that we fear so much in death. And I mean the actual physical pain. Most people's wishes would be to just not wake up the next morning, not have a massive heart attack or anything, other ailments to slowly take you out or something. And in reflection here, with a lot of the people that are found and such like that, with all this very curious reasoning behind it of what might have went down on the death, that is now I'm doing the thing where I'm starting to think about too many things to divulge to you. So yeah, I'm having this meeting here today and just letting them know where I'm going with it, telling them that I'll reflect on God, because there is the subject of God in every subject we get to talk about, and it lives in this subject very strong. Great men of wisdom, whether their wisdom came out accurately, close to accurate, totally inaccurate, great men of wisdom that have come up in our ranks in one way or another. I'm going to be talking about some of them. So much unfolds, all the mystery of the tombs and all these rock sculptures. People aren't really thinking and reflecting these huge rock sculptures, pyramids, whatever you want to call them, buildings, religious sites, homes, different things like this. They're all carved, they're all made, they're all stacked, built, carried, moved around. We know that for a fact. And then we can look at the place like the Grand Canyon, and we can wonder, where did all that material move to? We can look at the Grand Canyon and many, if not all the other canyons around, and say, how come most of it does not look water worn, like it's been etched by water? So if you get into fracking and understand fracking is breaking, and the smaller you break, the easier you can move pieces. And you think about the Grand Canyon, think about mountains with all these etched sides. Think about the cracks in the concrete out in front of your house, on the pavement, all the potholes. That is just a connection of those actual products. And it's obviously going to go much deeper, because if you go into the, I believe, Mariana Trench, something like that, the big trench in the ocean, if you could tap into that and go down into that, you can see how well it's carved also. You can go into any of the cavings that these guys are doing. There's lots of cavers around. Just amazing stuff where they're barely just crawling through, stuck in one spot for minutes as they just work their way through like this and stuff. Just amazing, crazy guys. But they're showing us unbelievable details in all these caves, and you're not cluing in. Goes on way bigger than that. Way bigger. Because our lights, for our light signals, are triggered by a car that pulls up there. Got that tar around there, takes the signal up the wire. Those get picked out and broken. So at times you pull up to a light and it's not working. Maybe very well that. Simple pickings at so many things that are going on. The scratches on your car, scratches on your mirror on the outside of the car. Keep your windows always up, and you'll never see any scratches on your mirror on the inside of the car. Give them a test. Let them, once you start noticing those mirrors really scratching up on the outside of your car or your windows, just little tap marks or full out scratches. If you ever wonder and actually start noticing, because you can see them in different reflections of the sunlight, you ever start noticing that stuff, it starts to get heavy, then give them the test of the mirror in the inside of the car. Let them leave the windows open for a night or a couple of nights. See what happens. This is how they get around. This is what they do. They start to branch out. All the patinaed paint, kind of custom paint that we think we understand. It was never because of the faulty paints, glues, undercoats, rust protections, how you didn't dry your car enough. It was not necessarily any of that. Not when we had it by an epidemic. So anything that goes by an epidemic, the potholes are an epidemic around the world. Countries that don't suffer the same things, that conditions that your country, not near the same, and they're getting potholes. So I'm going to call it quits here, and I just want to one more time remind you here, today really does change big time. I meet with the big man and try to set his heart at peace with what I'm going forward for and with. And yeah, I just don't want anybody stressing him out and telling him BS. I want him to know what I'm doing, not what they are guessing that I'm doing, or people who want to just go with satanic kind of garbage. The way that I find myself and push myself is not to insult other people's beliefs. It's not fair of me to insult your beliefs. And through this, I'll share my beliefs and share a lot about myself. I already have. I've come to real good peace on this subject, guys. It's a deadly subject, and I'm at peace with it. I have much more peace than standing 200 meters away from a big grizzly bear. There, I'd be standing there pretty shooken up, wondering what his choices are going to be in that 200-meter dash. Me, I can be standing just feet away from knowing that the forest is filled in front of me. My heart is calm. If there was some thrashing that was evidently coming out, it would stimulate my heart. But if there's thrashing that isn't evidently coming out, then I hold my calmness. I use my voice, tell them what my passions are, tell them that this is the human pathway, that I should be allowed to walk on this pathway. You shouldn't be able to intimidate me and scare me. Reflect on real things. Reflect on that you're going to leave, but you'll give them their space. But this isn't right. We share this land. Will that work every time? Those are big questions. Guys like David Politis, 411 missing 411, something like that. Most of the people he talk about reflect into the subject. When I watch him out on the lakes and so on and so forth, you can see big pods of the beings come together for him. I'm going to say straight up, nothing like they come together for me. They understand and realize that I do notice them different than Politis, or pretty much probably anybody. I see a lot of ladies and different people out there who believe in their connecting and stuff, and yeah, they're connecting, but they're just not connecting to the same extent as I'm connecting as my beliefs. Cheers. And remember what rock is. It's a mineral, and they're farming it. All the concrete is rock. All the asphalt is rock and sand with other elements of earth in it. And they're farming it back, farming it for something else. Think about how we see the rocks, and sometimes we see the rocks as a culmination of how they came together. And they became these hardened aggregates and different kinds of stone and such. We're almost baffled how that might have happened. Cheers.